So Jack, Jamie, everybody, it's Paul. What year was this?
It was 2021.
The year of 2021.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And how did it go?
What do you think, Jack?
I think it went all right. What do you think?
I think it was hard.
It had its
I
challenges.
think it was a challenging year. I think it was a rewarding year. I think it was a really hard, rewarding year, and it's good to look back and have done it.
So last year I was saying, not the one that just passed, but the one before, that it was a really bad year that went really well. And I was saying this was a really good year that was going to go really hard, right? And that ended up, but in the end, it turned out okay. I think we had a good year.
Yeah, I mean, what are the numbers? Percentage growth.
Percentage growth? Well, I'm looking back to 2017 on manufacturing, because a lot of people are probably asking, why are we not shipping as many
To these
guitars?
people, 17's ancient history.
Right.
And so
Right. So here's what I was just going to say, is that since 2017, we've increased production 120%. And we're working really hard to get guitars out of this factory right now. And from last year, we're up about 15% on production. And as a business, we're up roughly 15%. SEs are up a little more than that.
Yeah.
So we're heavy growth. It was a really good year.
We're going to do $90 million this year,
We are
right?
going to do, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So the cool thing is we're making more guitars
Yeah.
than we've ever made in the 37 years or however many years that is. And as far as we're concerned, and hopefully you guys are concerned, they're the best guitars we've made since 1985. Unfortunately, that means people are still having to wait for stuff, because no matter how hard we try to make more, there's always, there's more hunger than there is food sometimes.
But Jack, it's still 110 a day coming out of the Maryland factory.
it's
and it's
impressive.
200 a day of SEs. And,
And not just numbers, it's like the guitars,
The guitars are the best guitars that I've ever seen come out of the factory.
Yeah,
so
I can say that.
there was a moment years ago where there was discussions about whether it was going to be about the brand or it was going to be about the product. And I remember very clearly sitting, it was in the bead field, which was our term for an old office space. And I remember we decided we were just going to work on the guitars, because if somebody picked up a Magic guitar and they loved it, they'd use it. So it's always been about the product for us, and I've always loved that part. There was one year at NAMM where I reached behind and just grabbed guitars off the wall to do interviews, because they had interviews set up all NAMM, and every single time I plugged the guitar in, I was either getting a live or a recording tone. It was working. So when you say the best guitars, I'm thinking it comes out of the box and it just does its job.
Yep.
That's, for me, that's the big deal.
Yep. And I feel like you've led us and taken the innovation of the guitars and the microscope details of the guitars. It's like what we used to do, one here and one there, is way more systemic, through the whole line, which is very, very cool.
So a lot of these vintage guitars had a very, very wide window. You could have the same model beat a really not good instrument, or there were some Magic ones, right? Yeah. Our window is much narrower, but we keep moving it up and moving it up and moving it up. And there's a meeting we have called One a Day, and the idea is that one time a day we solve a problem. So 250 problems solved a year, and just constantly working on the things that we need to work on. So that said, for the year before, which was the COVID year, and then this is the remnants of the COVID year, what do you guys see for next year?
I see next year as super exciting. I think
Why?
A, we've got great teams in place.
Yeah.
B, we've got great product. C, we have pretty significant product introductions.
Like what?
Like what, Jack?
Well, you guys may have seen the Save the Date.
Are you allowed to say?
I hope so, because I just said it. You've seen the Save the Date, and that's just a piece of what's coming. It's been very busy on the product development side. A lot of activity inside of the building on taking designs to the next level. So I think from the guitar player standpoint, I think you guys are going to be excited with what we have coming this year.
Yeah, and I want to expand on the one-a-day concept that Paul talked about a little bit too. Paul has, but a lot of people ask me, is Paul a figurehead or is he the real deal? And
Does he actually show up for work?
Yeah. People come in and they visit, and hey, Paul's
This is
actually
my
here.
vodka.
Yeah. Paul's actually, but this one a day meeting, it's doing two things. One, it's pushing innovation on a daily basis. And our product is honestly getting better by the day, and that's no joke. But it's also teaching us, as a team. We have generally 6 or 7 people in there, but I think a lot of time,
Guest
we weave
speakers.
probably 25 people through there.
Yeah, something like that.
And it's a great forum for us to learn from Paul, and it's really exciting because I feel like as an organization we're growing and we're learning and we're getting better and better, and we're not just making product to make money and kick it out. And like Chuck said, we're making some of the best stuff we've ever made, and the excitement comes from being proud to put these guitars in front of people. And I think it's getting better and better. And next year, we're reaping a lot of the benefits and the fruits of the hard work from this year.
So let me give everybody an example. You'll be receiving a part from a supplier, and they'll be coming in fine for years and years and years. And one day they came in different because the supplier's tooling had worn out and they had retooled the part, and all of a sudden the part's not what we're used to and it's not what we want. And we need to get it fixed fast. And for me, that's a really beautiful format that on a daily basis we know exactly what's going on. And I think there's an ethos in the building that if you find a problem, you let everybody know. You don't hide it. We don't kill the messenger. We want to know what's going on. So for me, that would be a small example. The other thing is what you're mentioning, very often things that were discovered in early days of the factory, in the old shop on West Street in Annapolis, all that stuff gets referred to because what we're trying to do is just make a really good instrument. Same thing that was happening in the West Street shop. I was trying to make really good instruments. So there's 2 pages of issues, and we grade it AA through C, and we're only working on the AA issues. And for me, it's joyful because I know that when somebody opens a case, they're going to get their money's worth. That's the whole goal.
That's the thing.
So for me, next year is hopeful. Guitars are like old T-shirts. You put a good one on, you don't even remember you put it on. You wear it all day. It's the same thing with a good guitar. You put it on and you just play music and you don't even worry about the guitar. And I know that a lot of those little burrs that would be in your T-shirt are gone.
Right.
And so and very often with guitars, it's getting rid of the problems. And I don't want to innovate just to innovate. I want to do it because there's a need that the guitar players have.
Better tool.
Better tool. Look, it used to be that you would buy a 100 watt or a 50 watt amp. Now people are buying really small amps, but the touring guys are still using the 100 watts, right? So things are changing, and the landscape's changing all the time. It used to be there was not enough gain in an amp, you had to make the pickup really powerful. Now there's so much gain in your pedal board, that's just not an issue anymore. Things change, right. Things are moving, and my hope is that when people open the case, that it's doing its job. Yeah. It's just doing its job. And I know you're doing all the SE stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of that. But I was going to go back to the shop floor that we have in Maryland, because I think it's one thing to have a good idea, and it's one thing to make one good guitar. But I kind of look at, we have a planet alignment moment happening right now, a little bit. And it's like we have come to a spot where we know what we want in a guitar. We have come to a spot where we know and understand the ingredients that go into it and how to play with the recipe really well. Mm-hmm. At the same time that the world is looking at us and saying, we believe in you too.
Well, that's
and we accept that you can do this and we want this stuff from you. At the same time that we've got this talent on the shop floor that's able to take those ideas and execute them and make a lot of something that's very difficult to make, And to me, it's kind of cool to just look at, if any one of those things was a little out of kilter, it'd be a very difficult thing to deal with, to have a huge opportunity but not be able to execute it, or have a great instrument that we can make really well but nobody's that interested in it. for all those pieces to kind of line up, that to me is the beauty of this year. And it sets up what I think can be just an extraordinary future for us. Not just like what does next year look like, but what does the future of PRS look like? I think that kind of gets me going when I think in the broad space a little bit. I think that's pretty real, and I think it's also rewarding in that it's a lot of years of kind of getting to that spot.
Yeah, we were sorry.
No, go.
We were saying the other in a different discussion that we estimated we have 3,000 years of experience on the shop floor right now,
Right.
which is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But this is not something you can just start up. I mean, this is now a couple hundred people who have been working together, who can anticipate each other. It's funny, anticipating. There's a lot of that going on. It's to the point where people know what the next person's going to do, or what's going to happen, and it's at all levels in the organization. That we've
laughing
got
because you gave me a report of what I was going to say today.
I did. Yeah. I would say you're predictable, but only in sort of microcosms. But
In a very unpredictable way.
He's going to talk about it.
But on this, I mean, with the teams on the floor right now, I do feel that there is a chemistry, and we've all worked together for so long now that it's not trying to figure out what is that person thinking or what are they going to do. There's just a lot of momentum right now. I mean, the private stock team, most of those folks have been together, 15, 20 years, right? And the stuff coming out of that department right now is off the charts.
Off the chart.
Yeah, if you ever need a break in the day, just an uplift, you just go down and check out what's going on.
Right.
Do it online too. People.
Anywhere.
So I have a story to tell everybody. We had a guitar maker on the floor, Dan, and we kept encouraging him to be a manager or talking to him about it. Was he going to go to private stock? What was going to happen? And he finally took a job as a neck team manager. Doesn't talk a lot, although he's a very good teacher, and a very highly skilled guitar maker. So we have this rock star that needed a guitar, and it needed to be shipped that day, it was that day. And at 9 o'clock, we realized it had the wrong fret wire in the neck. And I took it down and I said, "Can you refret this for me?" He said, "Sure." Now, I expected to have to call the rock star and say, it's going to be 3 or 4 days. At 10:30, he hands it back to me, completely done. I couldn't tell that it had been refretted. Had to measure the frets to make sure that, in fact, it was. And it looked like it had never been done. In an hour and a half, all the frets were glued in. They were all level. All the edges were done. The roundovers were done. Everything was perfect. And I was like, in all my years, and I've seen a lot of extraordinary refrets in my life, I've never seen one that good in an hour and a half, ever. And I went, that deserves an award. So we started an award for these remarkable guitar making advancements that happen on the floor. And the second one's been decided on. Somebody's changed our industry very quietly without ever boasting or doing anything from their bench. They've completely changed our industry. You look in other guitar makers' catalogs and you see this person's work. So that deserves the award. But I want to start giving awards to the guitar makers on the floor for their feats of guitar making, and it's reflective of what you're talking about. I mean, I'd like to give everybody an award, but that ain't going to happen. So right now, it's if you did something so much better than anybody's ever imagined was possible, we'll give it to you. That's the way it'll start anyway. So I don't know. I got good hopes for next year. I think that our business has matured. I think that it's much better than it was. And the weird part for me is that it used to be we would make a guitar, put it in a box. And then we'd make another guitar, put it in a box, and make another. Now we put it in a box and put it on a pallet. Yeah. And the trucks are backing up. Yeah. And it used to be box by box, and now going out the door, it's pallet by pallet. So, and container by container, which has been
changing.
4 containers showed up today. Let's get 400 people outside.
Which, if you hear that, that's kind of scary, because it's like, ooh, there it goes. We're going down a slippery slope, and everything's going to change, and it's not a slippery slope. And that's what's really cool about it. Nobody wants to be on that slippery slope. Right. Nobody. And I think that's pretty impressive.
So the slippery slope that Jack's talking about is that, well, okay, now you're going to go faster, but quality's going to go away.
Yeah.
And we've been accused of it from day one.
Yeah.
We were doing $40 million worth of business 5 years ago, and now it's 90. And well, we'll see how you do. Actually, those questions have stopped.
Yeah.
It used to be, well, now it's all going to go downhill, but I just don't see it because those 300, 400 years or 3,000 years, how many did you say?
It's like 3,000 years.
3,000 years of experience. It's not going to allow it.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yeah. And I think the quality thing is gigantic right now. It is an ethos, I think, that we have within the business, and our job obviously is just to make sure that everybody in the entire business feels that, because we say that is our rock. I mean, that is the rock that we stand on. If that goes away, the whole thing falls apart. And that leads me into I know I was asked to talk a little bit about the fact that there are a lot of people out there that want a guitar they've been waiting for a while. And I really think we could turn the knob up and we could probably make 200 guitars a day if we really wanted to.
No.
But we won't,
No.
because we're not compromising on quality. I mean, we have absolutely said the day that goes away, this whole house of cards would tumble. And
I think it's made of bricks now, not cards.
it is bricks. That probably wasn't the right way to say that.
Yeah, you said it.
But it would be a house of cards if we didn't have the quality. I mean, what I'm saying is we are so adamant about not compromising on quality and continuing to innovate that the growth is only going to be what the growth is going to be. And I don't want to be matter of fact about it, because boy, when I say it was a hard year, the hardest part about the year is not being able to give everybody what they want when they want it.
That's right. It's frustrating to frustrate people.
That is the hard part about this year. Sometimes we say it's a better problem to have, but when you make something beautiful and somebody really wants it and they have to wait and wait and wait, it's hard. It's hard. And so we are trying really hard to ramp production, but without the compromise on quality, and we're going to go as fast as we feel comfortable going. And here we go. We'll do more next year, and we'll do more the next year, and we're going to keep going.
We were in a meeting and when a few guitars in the room, and our head of U.S. sales, Jim Collins, said, "This guitar's got compound in the neck joint, can't ship it." And I went nuts. It was one of the best guitars we ever made. And there was this little teeny thing you couldn't find with a microscope. And they were going to wave it off because 80% of information is brought in visually. So people are looking at their work constantly. And they, in their world, that was completely and totally unacceptable. Jim was on the line for years and years and years and years. Yeah. And it was a hell of a guitar. And I don't want it to forget about how good an instrument it is, but the truth is it has to be both. It has to be no compound in the neck joint, and and the frets are all dead level, and the pickups sound good, and all the electronics work right, and the neck shape's right, and it's not overdone here or there, and da 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 da. All of it's like the 10 plates, and the guy spinning all the plates have to be up. It's not so easy.
Yeah. And simply, I mean, I remember the first time you said this to me anyway, was it's your eyes, it's your ears, and it's your hands. Yeah. And any one of those things comes off the roster and you're in a bad spot. But it's got to look great, feel great, and it
sound great.
Got to sound great, yeah.
Well, so what are you looking forward to most next year? What's the number one happy spot Paul Smith select for next year?
I think my life's going to change. We had a meeting today, and I'm going to be doing more and more and more teaching and less of the micromanagement as time goes on. You guys are treating me like some doctor, and every 15 minutes is scheduled, The doctor's in, But that's, I've held so many guitars that when I'm in private stock checking them, I have a good feel for, making sure that it's going to be the instrument that the person's going to love and there won't be a problem. I think, am I looking forward to that part of it? Yes, but even better right now, because the private stock team is peaking, we've got some guitars planned about a year out that I can't wait to make, but I'm not even going to present it to the team till I make the prototypes. So I still fundamentally at my core, I'm a guitar maker, and I like doing it. So what do I look forward to? That. Some of the things that are going on in amps look really exciting. We got an order from a Rockstar yesterday. He got a hold of Derek Truck's amp that Derek used at the Allman Brothers tour, and he goes, "How come I don't know about this amp? I want one now." And so we grabbed a few that we had in the artist relations room, and he wants what Derek has, and he wants it now. And so that's fun for me. I enjoy that. I don't really like giving Jack a hard time, but I enjoy giving you a hard time. I'm looking forward to that.
I know. I live it. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the continuation of a lot of the process improvements that we started this year. We put wheels in motion on a lot of things that we're really going to see the benefits of 3, 4, 5 years out. We have a new planning system. We have better logic within our planning system. We have a new portal that's going to really help with communication with our retailers. And like we were talking about the manufacturing teams are just getting better and better and better. And, we have a lot of thoughts about how to, better training and better teaching. I mean, teaching is a massive theme right now. And how do we build some of these teams and take everything that's in Paul's brain and not just into Jack and Jamie and, the management teams, but into everybody that, is touching guitars. So there's so much opportunity for us to do what we're doing better and better and better. And I enjoy that. That's fun. That's fulfilling. And it's been a great journey so far. And I think next year has the potential to be a really big year for us.
I know that you have planted with your team a lot of seeds. That's true. You're looking for them to coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to bear fruit for us.
What about you, Jack?
I think the biggest thing I look forward to, we have projects we've been working on for a couple of years, and they're going to launch early in the year. And I think I'm most looking forward to seeing what the reaction to those things are, because we love them, and it's like probably making a record, and you got 10 songs that you put down, and you have one song in particular that you just love it, and you want everyone else to love it too. But you don't really know until the record comes out. You just don't really know what's going to happen. And I feel this is a little like that for me. This has been a long road, and I'm most looking forward to seeing what the public reaction is to something we've been working on really hard, and see if everybody agrees with us. That's probably the thing for me.
My money says we have a pretty big hit or two coming next year.
Next few years are exciting from that point of view. I think, it seems like we've hit our stride, ideas are flowing, and they seem like they're all valid, So it's just a matter of which ones do you focus on first, and how fast can you go. So it's a very, very exciting time to be in the guitar business for sure.
So somebody sat me down once and taught me that there are 3 stages to anything new. Stage 1, it's venomously opposed to.
Yeah.
Stage 2, people are pretty much against it. And stage 3, the accepted norm.
Right.
Yeah, we went through that yesterday, actually.
Isn't that like every meeting we have, isn't it?
And when we came out with the Silver Sky, somebody called me and says, "Well, you just did it, Paul. You farted in a spacesuit." And I was like, well, I guess I'm in stage 1.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting one and loving it.
Yeah.
So to me, some of these projects that we come out with, and while we've worked on it for years and years and years and years, it's brand new information in the market, and it might have hit them not quite the way, it wasn't just a normal kind of product release. I know some of the stuff that we've got coming up, people are going to go, huh? And they don't really know till they get their hands on it.
Right.
There's been a few things, let's just say head turners. Really, you want to do that? But we've been thinking about it for years and years and years and years. And it started off as some small box in my office or some prototype somewhere or some rock star calling and going, this is what I want to do. You want a what? And the people that don't get exposed to that till the end, and the stories are told, right? So some of these things I think are going to be accepted very quickly, and I think some of these things are going to be sleepers, and some of these things, my hope is they don't go Tupperware. A record can go gold, it can go platinum, and it can go Tupperware.
That's right.
I hope it doesn't do that. But I think that because we've laid some groundwork in the past for things that people were like, what did they do? That part pleases me, that when everybody waves it off, and then long term they come back. I mean, the NF3 is a really good example.
Yeah, that is a
We
good
came out with it, got Guitar of the Year from all the magazines worldwide, got a MIPO award for it. None of the dealers wanted it. They quit getting them. Jimmy Herring picks one up and goes, I think this is my guitar. Yeah. And I said, why do you like it? He goes, because it does things my vintage guitars won't do. And listen to this. And now you can't find one. I mean, good luck good luck finding one. And those pickups, those narrow fields are starting to get noticed again, and artists are talking about using them again. And there's a lot of things that immediately hit and work well, and there are things that hit well and die off, and there are things that you hit and then slowly come back, That part I find interesting because they weren't at the meetings when we were thinking about doing it and how it was going to go. And we've known we were going to take some hits for a few things in the past. I mean, that one thing we did, I think Judy's here. She'll I say it, Judy. What had happened when we released the Silver Sky? It blew up our website, right?
Yeah.
It crashed our website. When John put it on his phone, we were getting 1,000 likes a minute, not views, likes a minute. A minute. It was like, huh? That's 60,000 likes an hour.
Yeah.
Website goes, that was cool.
But that was a bit of an emotional roller coaster ride, I got to say.
Why?
Well, just because there was so much public interest in that, and there were so many assumptions, to your point, assumptions about how we designed that, how we developed it, that were not based. And it was once the guitars got in people's hands that
that's
they're like,
the bottom line,
ooh, oh, whoa, this is different.
Well, then the videos started coming out where they compare the old ones and the new ones, right?
Yeah.
I think we got really good years in front of us. I want to stay at it and stay at it and stay at it. There's something wonderful about guitars, they're fun to be around. I like them. People used to play guitars so they get dates. I want to be around guitars because I like the sound of them. When I heard him play the first time, I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was listening to. And I got to be around some of this music as it was developing. I was 13 when Woodstock happened, so I wasn't allowed to go to that. But after that, I got to see things at Merriweather and some of these other places. I had my chin on the stage one of the last nights Little Feat played. Paul Barrere I was showing a guitar to the guitar player, to Lowell George. He says, get away from me. Get away from me. I said, well, what did I do wrong? He says, I'm going to fall in love with that thing. Every guitar I've ever loved has been stolen. You get away from me.
Right.
And Paul Barrere felt bad for me. And he kneels down and he gives me a stage pass off the stage at Warner Theater. And I put it on, and they couldn't stop me, and I put my chin on the stage. Nobody else was in chairs. I'm the only one. And I watched these geniuses go at it. And, I've seen some things that just are astounding musically. Yeah. The beginnings of this cauldron of this thing we call rock and roll and R&B and all that stuff. I just, I like being around guitars.
That is awesome to me. That is Little Feat's live record is like one of my favorite records of my life, and I think you were there for part of that, for part of that album.
They were geniuses. Yeah, there is no question at the time.
Band. Incredible.
Unbelievable. So, I bring that up as a band that never played PRS guitars, but it was part of the ethos of the music scene in DC. We were the first stop. The first time Foreigner ever played was at the Bayou. The Meters used to come play there. All these bands used to play there. And I would stand there and just couldn't even believe what I was listening to. And you get impregnated with this tone and these sounds and all this stuff. And at the time, a guitar amp was a PA system.
Right.
Now it's a thing that you feed into your in-ear monitors. It's a different animal, right? But I don't know. This whole rock thing is just nothing but good fun, and I still love it. I mean, there's something magic about it, and I adore it. And for me, I guess I'll retire more and more into that studio that I built. I like recording.
I was going to say, you spend a lot of time doing it too. You're definitely you're spending
recording?
some time in the studio
Yeah,
right now.
well, if you're going to build a tool to record music, and you got all these musicians in this area,
You better use
we live
it.
in the land of the drummers. Look, we got good years in front of us, right? We're all saying the same thing. I want to say one other thing I'm really proud of. The three of us here talking about the company, but we had a meeting today. A lot of our directors are female now. I mean, there's a lot of real mixture of humanity helping to run this place. And a lot of the people that came up out of the ranks. They weren't hired from the outside. I mean, you started sanding.
Yeah. I was hired to sand. I lied my way into the company because it was between me and another guy, and you looked at me and said, "You're still playing in the band, right?" And he didn't have a job. And I said, "Nah, I quit the band last night." And you're like, "Okay, I'll give you both a shot." Yeah, we were there on the same day.
And you had never quit the band?
I had not quit the band, but I made real fast moves to quit the band that day.
Did you quit the band?
I did not.
Made
I
the
kept
move.
playing for a while till they found a replacement for me. All things in due time.
We tried to hire you for 7 years, kept calling you and calling you and calling you and calling you.
Yep. Just hit
You
me at
kept
the right
saying,
moment.
"No,
that one
no,
ride
no,
home.
no."
That one ride home.
So what was the thing that changed your mind?
It was just time.
Really?
It was just time. It was pretty funny. Sorry, Black and Decker folks, but
Here we go.
it was just it just came out of an ops review that didn't go so well, and
Ops review.
it's just a review kind of thing. And we had been talking for a long time, and Jack just hit me right on the way home. As I was kind of saying, what's next for me?
Talk about planet alignment.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't believe you just called me, Jack. Let's have lunch tomorrow. And so
Really? Is that what happened?
so we had lunch, and it was time.
So we are doing our fireside chat
Yep.
with a fake TV.
Is it?
Yeah.
No,
is.
it's a real TV. It's just a fake fire.
Oh, I thought it was
No,
a real
it's a
TV.
real TV. It's just a fake fire.
Fake fire, real TV.
Look,
It's very realistic, though. It's very nice.
it's very nice. I don't even, that's the way it is. Used to be if the TV broke, you take it to the TV repairman. Now when the TV breaks, you throw it away.
Right.
That's what I don't want to happen to guitars.
Right.
The only thing you didn't really talk about was pickups.
Good.
And you
But,
talk
all right,
about
so-
what we're looking forward to
you're
next
right.
year. I think one of the things we're going to look back on this year and say, what did we accomplish?
A lot
I think the
with the
progress
pickups,
on
with the pickups.
pickups actually was probably a turning point for us, I would say.
I agree. Look, pickups are black art.
Yeah.
It is a very, very hard to understand thing. That machine that we have that tells us what it's going to sound like before we ever plug it in, and every time we do this, we think we're going to go from A to B, and we go backwards to Z. I mean, we call it opposite land.
Yeah.
And Hedge started it. He walked into the office with the sheets. He goes, "You're not going to believe this one." And that, once we could measure what was going on, we would make a move, and then the opposite would happen. And listen, it's a real black art, the pickup thing, because you've got this inductance and this capacitance and this coil and this resistance, and it's unmodelable, really. You're going to have to do it in the analog domain. It's an EQ, basically. They have a whistle to them, and we finally started the beginnings of understanding what was really going on.
Yeah, I think we have a long way to go, but from like 5 years ago to where we are right now, boy, I feel like we've really come a long way
accelerated.
in understanding how to change the tone. I think that's a really big deal for instruments going forward.
Well, there's your fireside chat, everybody. I don't know. That was fun.
Happy New Year.
Was that our first one?
It is our first.
Are we going to do another one, Judy? Next year? Huh?
Sure.
I think we
Alright.
should use like a real fire.
Yeah, we'll burn the stage down.
We could do that.
I think that we feel very appreciative, not just to all the people on the floor and all the people that work at PRS, but all the people that are going to be watching this video are, our customers, our fans, the people that sit there with their arms crossed and don't really want to like it, but they do, and some of the people that really like it, but don't, all those people, right? I feel very appreciative towards the entire world that has been watching us in a way. And I wanted to thank everybody for their time. Very cool. And what about you, Jamie? What do you think?
Well, I'm always say this is a different kind of company. I mean, this is,
It's not black
and
and
most
white.
of the time I mean that in a really positive way. But we have a special thing here, and we like sharing it. And our customer base is outstanding. Our retailers and distributors, like I said, it was a tough year. We're trying to get you more stuff. Appreciate your patience. We are trying to make the best stuff we possibly can, and we're going to keep doing that. And we really just appreciate, you guys sticking with us and continuing to ask us for more product. And we're just going to keep going, and we're going to push as hard as we can. And we're thankful for the base that we have, that we're able to create these jobs for everybody that we have here and keep growing what we're growing. And it's kind of a magical situation, and we have a lot to be thankful for. Thank you all.
I think we've been on a pretty amazing journey. It's been a great time. Long term, short term, it's just been an amazing journey. So I am very appreciative of all of you guys that have decided to come on the journey with us. And it certainly doesn't work if you're not believing in what it is that we're doing. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm hoping that as we go through some of these growth things that we've been talking about, what that really translates into is the family getting bigger, more people having the opportunity to see what it is that we've been working on, and just sort of sharing that and sharing the ability to make music, sharing the ability to not have to sell your car to pick up a quality instrument so that you can get the music that's in your head out of your head and into a place where you can share it with other people. I think that is, that doesn't work unless everybody is aligned together. And I'm very appreciative for all of that.
Well said. So everybody, thank you very, very much for
Thank
having
you.
us. Thank you.